The alarm starts beeping. The sun barely squints over the horizon. Eyes still closed, fingers fumble toward the device, making that terrible, incessant noise. And an internal urge kicks in as it is drawn toward one. The urge to swipe right and see which emails have come in and what happened on Facebook and who posted the latest picture on Instagram. The app is more open than my eyes so early in the morning. And darn it, even though there was a promise made at 10 p.m. that is not how the day would start, I can barely help myself. Email, social media, doing mode, my body is not even awake and caffeinated yet, right? Sound familiar to anyone here in the pews? I think so, because someone's post-it said, turn the phone off. So even if you don't start the day with your phone reminding you of all that needed your attention while you were sleeping so peacefully, we all know the rhythm and lyrics to the tune called Busy, do we not? Yeah. You all are parenting. You are tending to elders or others in your care. You are working. You are in school. You are running a household and doing grocery shopping. You are taking care of plants and animals. You volunteer at your child's school. You do extra at work. You engage in the community. You share your time and talent here. Take a breath. Take a breath. And in the midst of all of our just regular life stuff that keeps us propelled from morning until night, you're also trying to figure out the best way to go out and love the world, to bring some healing and peace, to make a difference with the national and international issues that are not only impacting us, but that we understand are going to impact the generations that come after us. We are out there mitigating global climate disruption, interrupting patterns of white supremacy culture. We are finding ways to house people who are living on the streets. And why are we still ensuring women's reproductive health and the right to choice? Still, that fight is ours and continues. And it can all be exhausting, and all of it matters immensely, and we feel responsible because if not us, who then? Who's going to get out there and do all of that? Our hands are full, our hearts are overflowing. We want to bring the peace and healing, and yet it feels like the day's tasks are really never completely finished. After a long day, maybe you greet the evening feeling a little bit frazzled and worn and disappointed. Hopefully accomplished too, though, right? Because we do accomplish many things. But maybe you feel like tomorrow I'm going to give it just a little bit more. Because the world still needs saving, and we need to do our part. A cultural story that I hear over and over again is that the world has never been as fast as it is today. It's never been so busy. It's never been so all-consuming. It's never been so downright wearying for other people. I mean, some of us feel weary. I know, because I see you posting about it on Facebook at 6 a.m., friends. I see you on there. Don't think that I don't, even if I'm not commenting. And so it may be true that it is more wearying and full and busy than other generations have known, because it's hard to imagine other generations being so full of information so readily at their fingertips. Other generations being so much in need, feeling so much confusion and so much despair. But religions around the world have carried a foundational message. I see you sneaking in here, Rabbi. Late. What was he doing on Facebook? People are seen in this congregation, okay? But religions Christians around the world have carried a foundational message to slow down, everybody. Slow down. Yes, even thousands of years ago, there have been reminders that spacious pauses are necessary for our spiritual well-being, and they're necessary for us to continue doing the tending of the world in whatever ways we choose to do that. So many of us are familiar with the creation story that we hear in the Jewish and Christian scriptures, that after creating heaven and earth, after separating light and dark, after breathing life into people and plants and animals, that the hard-working, inventive God said, "Enough is enough, I did good, and now I'm going to take a little break." On the seventh day, God ended the work which God had done and rested. The Torah is filled with reminders for us to rest, to take Sabbath time, to take time away from work and sorrow, and to intentionally invite in space for play and prayer. This commandment in the Torah to keep, observe, and remember the Sabbath, it is a commandment repeated more than any other one in that book. And it insists on rest not only for people, but on animals and plants and even our fields. So next weekend, the Torah portion talks about those fields. Now, it's going to be my Torah portion next weekend because I'm being bat mitzvahed, and we're all like, what does that mean for a UU pastor to be bat mitzvahed? I know. Come to the service and find out, because that's what my drosh is about. But I'll be singing a little bit, chanting a little bit of that Torah portion in service on Friday night. Et safiach ketzirecha lo tikzor vetinve netzirecha lo tivitzor shenat shabbaton yeh la'aretz. You shall not reap the aftergrowth of your harvest or gather the grapes of your untrimmed vines. It shall be a year of complete rest for the land. A complete year of rest. Every time I read that line, I go, wow, what would that be like? This particular instruction speaks for fallow time for the fields, but it is so easy for us to read into it a directive for each and every one of us. For us to remember, yeah, you know what? We get to take longer extended breaks so that the soil and the soul of our very lives can be replenished, nourished, creating fertile ground for us to explore our own selves and our connection with each other and our connection to what we name as sacred. So I wonder, can you imagine what would it feel like to have that year of complete rest for you? No, Julia says. Or a month of complete rest? She says maybe. Colin is into it. He's ready. Summer break is coming. Or a week, or for some of us, even a day. Like without doing the work of your life, whatever it is that work is. But to have complete rest, what does that even look like or feel like to you? Would it be rest from just physical labor? Or rest from your emotional labor? Maybe freedom to ease a little bit the barriers you create every day just so you can go out into the world and interact with people. Maybe a release from constant deadlines. Rest from feeling responsible for other people, or responsible for institutions, or responsible for the state of the world. Just rest. You all, each and every one of you, carry so much. Brene Brown is a researcher and author, and she explores the role of vulnerability as we create lives of meaning. And in her book, Daring Greatly, she wonders about this dominant culture of immediacy and 24-hour working, no matter if it's paid work or the work of keeping home and family together. But the sense that we can never really turn it off, and there's always more to do than we ever have time to do. And she says this cultural busyness, that we wear it like an armor, and that it's today's universal method for numbing out. We put it on so we don't have to always be kind of bombarded with just the realities of the world, because so many of us do feel overwhelmed with it all. She writes, a lot of us stay so busy and so out front in our life that the truth of how we're feeling and what we really need, it can't catch up with us. Do any of you hear yourself in that? What do you really need? And she goes on, I see it a lot when I interview people and I ask them about their vacation. They talk about how they're so wound up and that they're checking email while they're sitting on the beach. And their fear is, if I really stopped, if I really let myself relax, I would crater. Because the truth is, I'm exhausted, and I feel disconnected from my partner, I feel disconnected from my children, I feel disconnected from what it is I really want with my life. I just don't feel super connected right now. This busyness is often seen as a status symbol as well, so it can be hard to let go of it. We let busyness signal how important we are. Frankly, you want to get together? Nope, too busy, can't do that. Let me check my calendar. I don't know, I'm not going to check any of my voicemail. You can text me, but I might not text you back because I'm super busy, right? Yeah, I noticed that in my own kind of professional milieu of like how busy we were all the time. And I thought, what a message for the spiritual leaders to be sending their people of how busy they are. So this tight schedule with overlapping appointments shows that we're in demand. And the schedule also keeps us from that dabbling in the silence of sacred space and doing that integration of heart, mind, body, and spirit work. Our busyness armor does a good job. It can shield us from others, keeping them at a distance. It can shield us from what's going on in our own hearts and minds. But the good news is that if it really is an armor, and even though it's hard to penetrate, it means armor can be taken off. Either all at once or piece by piece, or we can even find little openings in it. And what might you see if you took the time this afternoon or this evening or in the morning to give yourself space away from your incessant phone or your computer or the dishes or the garden or whatever it is that's always calling for your attention and wanting more? What if you just let yourself take 5 minutes, 10 minutes without any of that around you? And if you've peeked in under your armor, what might you see waiting for you there? Would you see a person who is indeed valued beyond your productivity? A person who can start to be really fed when you give yourself the space to relax just a little bit? A person who is worthy of rest, worthy of celebration? Whether the day's tasks are done or undone, you're enough. And you, my friends, are beloved exactly as you are. I invite you to revel in the spirit of doing nothingness in the next few minutes or a few hours or even a day or a week. May our lives flow on together. We sing our closing hymn, number 108. Please rise. My life flows on, an endless song.